We can all see my screen. I believe we can all see my screen. Whoever gets this will get a special gift from our facilitator. Maybe a free business project management course. I'm not sure. I'm just joking. All right. Let me just take this as an example so that you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. So this means when the cat is away, the rats will play. It's a proverb. All right. And then the proverb has been turned into big grammar. So I will go into the second one. I believe we all understand how it goes, right? Can I get anybody acknowledging this? Hello? Hello? Am I the only one here?
Yes, we do.
Beautiful.
Yes,
beautiful.
we do.
Yes, good. So I'll go into the second proverb. And the second proverb says, illegal transgression offers no remuneration for its perpetrators. Who can guess what the proverb is? Illegal transgression offers no remuneration for its perpetrators. Who can guess what it is? Anybody? Anybody? Or we are all tired from the day? All right, for the sake of time, I'll just go out and reveal what it is. It says, crime does not pay. Does it make any sense to us at all? Hello? Does it make any sense to us at all? Are we there? Are we there? My people, we are not talking. Should we just close the session?
Yes,
This session is supposed to be very interactive. When the facilitator comes, when the facilitator needs us to talk, you must voice out. So this is just to relieve us of the tension from the day. All right. So let's go. Next one, a winged and feathered animal in the digital limb is as valuable as a duet in the shrubbery. Can anybody guess this? This is a very common proverb. Come on.
Can you come again?
You said what?
Can you repeat the proverb?
Can you see my screen? I need to be sure that you can see my screen.
No, we cannot.
I can only see CareeeLeap.
Oh, no wonder.
It's only CareeeLeap that is showing.
But I'm sharing my screen.
Okay, but we can't see from this end.
Oh. Okay, good. I will stop sharing now. I don't know what is wrong, but you're supposed to see my screen. Okay, that is why. I was wondering. I was talking all alone. I was thinking you could see my screen for some reason. Okay, good. But you can see me now, right?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can see you.
Oh, so sorry about that. I'm very sorry. I thought you were seeing my screen. And that's why I said it from the start that I'm sharing my screen. I thought everybody could see my screen. Oh, no wonder. I just felt like I was talking alone. All right, good. So no, let's just leave that because of time, okay? Let's leave that because of time. It's almost 7 o'clock. And what I'll be doing now is very quickly, I'll be introducing the church. This is Lofty Heights Christian Center. And we are in the business of raising kingdom influencers and ambassadors in the society whose business is making Jesus famous. All right. That is our role, that's our vision as Lofty Heights Christian Center. Our mission is to raise a tribe of vibrant, spirit-filled, heavenly conscious, and earthly relevant believers who know who they are, and why they were created. We have our core values as being in the word acronym as well. D standing for diligence, W standing for worship, E standing for excellence, L standing for light, and L standing for love, in the word love. When we say kingdom influencers, what do we mean? We mean kingdom influencers, people who can influence decisions at the gate in the marketplace. And one of the things that we'll be taking today is the CareeeLeap session that will be talking a lot about project management, which is one of the business focus areas for this session. For this session, we have a very great facilitator in our midst, and I'll be introducing him just about now. His name is Paul Ajayi. Paul Ajayi. I don't know. I need to share my screen somehow because I need you guys to see what I'm seeing here. Okay. So I'm going to try it once again. Okay. I'm going to try it once again. I'm going to share my screen. And please, if you can see my screen, just tell me that you can see my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can,
You can
but
see my
we
Yes,
have
screen.
to
we can.
put it
So what
on
can you see? What
presentation.
can you see?
Paul Ajayi.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, good. So we have with us Mr. Paul Ajayi, popularly called Bishop. All right. Bishop is going to explain to us when he starts, I believe, whether it is a bishop that is ordained in the cathedral or bishop based on character or bishop based on project management. Okay.
Ayo, you may
So,
want to put your presentation, your PowerPoint on presentation mode because we're seeing just the
oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay. Sorry. Uh, sorry. Just a moment, please. Can you see it now? Oh,
No,
okay,
we're
good.
seeing your face now.
Okay, good. Let me just go on so that we don't waste so much time. Okay, I'll
Okay.
just go on so that we don't waste so much time. So in seeing my face, I believe you can hear my words. Okay, so Bishop Paul Ajayi is a seasoned project executive with over 15 years experience in project and product management, having managed custom development, application delivery, infrastructure build, business transformation, technology integration, implementation of cloud-based solutions, data management and IT assessment projects in banking, financial services, telecommunications, utility, public and insurance sector environment. Wow. Mr. Paul holds a secret security clearance from the government of Canada. He is actively involved with the Project Management Institute and was the erstwhile director of governance at the Manitoba chapter. Paul is a member of the following professional associations, quite a number of them, I must tell you. I will run through this, okay? I will run through this so that you know that we're very privileged to have him amongst us. All right, Project Management Institute, PMI, Association of Change Management Professionals, ACMP, Global Risk Management Institute, GRMI, all right, and Risk and Insurance Management Society, RIMS. Paul Adeni holds a Bachelor of Technology in Civil Engineering, MBA, marketing management, and the following credentials. Credentials has not finished. Okay. Project Management Institute, PMI, Project Management Professional, PMP, Risk Management Professional, PMI, RMP, Professional in Business Analysis, PMI, PBA, Agile Certified Professional, ACP, Certified Scrum Master, CSM, Certified Skilled Agile Framework, Agilist, SA, Certified Scale Agile Practice Consultant, SPC, Canadian Risk Management, CRM, and Enterprise-Wide Risk Management, CRME. It's not finished. Prince 2 Agile Practitioner.
Maybe you want to just skip all of that and fast forward
No,
to
sir, they need to meet you fully, okay? They need to know, everybody here needs to know that we are privileged to have you amongst us, okay? So I'll just read this out, okay? Don't feel embarrassed, sir. It is what you've done. This is what you've done over the years, okay? And people need to know what effort you've put in to get to where you are today. All right, so I'm almost done. So don't worry, we have just like 2 sentences, 2 lines left. All right, I stopped at Prince 2 Agile Practitioner, Management of Risk, MOR Foundation, Information Technology Infrastructure Library, PROSCI, Organizational Change Management, Scrum Fundamental Certification, and Resilia Foundation Certificate in Cyber Resilience. He's an alumnus of the University of Winnipeg, Cornell University of Massachusetts Institute, and Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Sloan School of Management. Mr. Paul also wears the hat of Chief Strategy Officer at the Royal Apron, Ottawa, Canada, an authorized Salad Master dealership strategically located in Canada's capital city with coverage for the Eastern Canada market. The Royal Apron runs its operations in Ottawa, Quebec, and Newfoundland and Labrador. He recently obtained the Nutrition and Healthy Living Certificate from Cornell University. Paul co-founded the Royal Apron Salad Master dealership in 2021 with his wife, and the business runs multi-million in sales revenue and has grown beyond leaps and bounds. In 2023, the Royal Apron emerged number 1 in the Americas and number 5 globally amongst over 600 dealerships in 60 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, logged in to this platform, I would like us to give a very warm welcome to Mr. Paul Ajayi as it takes over from me. Thank you, Mr. Paul. The next voice you will hear is that of Mr. Paul. Thank you.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what part of the world you're in. I know most folks here are logging in from Canada. Eastern time is about past 9 p.m. I think Regina is Central Standard Time, and folks from Manitoba will be Central Daylight Time. Irrespective of where you're joining from, you're welcome to tonight's career session. I count it an honor and privilege to be facilitating this because my very good friend, who I've known now for over 7 years, Pastor Wale Tejumade, invited me, and I couldn't say no, even though I have a very busy schedule. I met Pastor Wale in Regina in 2017-18 when I came consulting for Sax Power in Regina. Without further ado, I think we could start. I also want to appreciate my friends and friends practitioners who are on the call today. In Africa, it's popularly said it takes a community to raise a child. So I'm more confident tonight because I've got my friends who are practitioners. I've got accredited training organizations from the PMI present on this call. I'm very confident that at the end of the day, the 60, 90 minutes we'll be spending together will be worth your while. So let's get started. If you can see my screen, today I'll just be talking about accelerating your career growth in project management. And then I'll share with my success story. Possibly this might encourage someone. Just like AY mentioned in the introduction, my first degree was in civil engineering, and I also have a master's in business administration. In the early 2000s, in the early 2000 in Africa, Nigeria, when I graduated, I think the majority of folks who graduated about my time all went to the banking sector. I really wanted to practice civil engineering because my specialization was in water and environmental engineering. But it dawned on me that the reward, as in pay-wise, in the banking sector and in construction or engineering was like heaven and hell, heaven and hell. The difference or disparity was great. Well, luckily, I forayed into banking and I started my career with Equity Bank in the corporate banking. I was privileged to manage the Dangote group of companies over my about 10 years banking career as a relationship manager and senior credit risk analyst, which was my last role in EcoBank. So in 2010, I was nominated by the province of Manitoba because I had had this long desire to migrate to Canada, but that was the time I came. So coming to Canada, I knew the path to becoming an engineer was going to be extensive because engineering in Canada is highly regulated. And so I thought, oh, what can I do to bridge all of my experience, education, and somehow project management came to mind. And so I attended the German, for those of you in Nigeria, we don't know, but in those days, German consulting was very popular. It was an authorized training organization for project management. So I went for the training with a plan that I was going to come to Canada with my PMP, which was project management professional. So the first picture you will see me here is with my team and the guys seated. And then if you look at the other pictures, this was PMI Manitoba chapter and me receiving an award. So, but when I landed, I discovered that unlike Nigeria, where we are highly focused on education and certification, in this part of the world, in North America, the focus, even though they appreciate all of the certification and education, focus was more on experience. So I ran into a roadblock, translating all of my prior experience to become projects. So I had to go back to school, and that's when I went to the University of Winnipeg. I was supposed to go study project management again, and the guy said, hey, we're sorry, we can't admit you for the project management course because you are PMP certified. So I had to do a course in risk management, and that's why you could see I have several other certification in Canadian risk management, enterprise-wide, and all of that. Fast forwarding, one of the things I did when I landed was that I quickly identified with the Project Management Institute chapter. And I was told by some other folks that one of the ways to get into the system is to volunteer. So I volunteered with the PMI as a membership officer. And down the road, I contested for the board of directors and became a member of the board. Right. I can't overemphasize the role of having mentors. I don't want to brag or boast, but by the time I came in Manitoba, which is a smaller province, I didn't see any person of color, as in Black Nigerian, who was practicing project management. And so when I entered into that space, it was a very tough one for me. And I had to look out for mentors elsewhere, and I got a mentor all the way from Toronto. This guy was able to bridge the gap in my learning and bringing me up to speed to the project world. Well, right now, if I'm not consulting as a project management consultant, I co-run the Royal Apron, which I talked about with my wife. I find this to be very fun stuff. So we manage one of the leading dealerships in the world, not also, but also in North America. There are other folks here. You will get to hear them as we proceed. Success stories. I've got one of my buddy here. Is Sonny Udo. You can see his profile. He's got over 15 years working as a senior PM, multiple domains, insurance, power, utilities, IT, marketing, retail, tertiary education, healthcare. You could see all of those certifications almost in line with mine as well. Don't mind all the letters, okay? He currently works as a program senior project management consultant. He's a lead instructor of applied business analysis, extended education at University of Manitoba, and also takes the project management course. I've got another guy here, Emeka Uweji. You could see similar patterns of certifications, global certifications, and the same domains. But let's go deep into project management so that we don't waste much time. So I've said project management don't start. Just a caveat that this is not a project management training. We're just looking at it from a career standpoint and see what's in it for you. What's a project? A project is any work performed by an enterprise or organization with a specific or definite outcome in mind, having a definite beginning and end. This you can see on Google, right? But permit me to say that God, because I know this is a religious or church-sponsored session, is the first master project manager. When God wanted to create the world, he had an expected outcome of what he was going to do. He had a schedule. And each of those days, the first 6 days before he rested on the seventh, God had a product he had to release. He created this, he created that. And guess what? He didn't do it single-handedly. He spoke with the other Trinity. He said, hey, let us. So that tells you there was some level of teamwork, involvement, and all of that. But what's the PMI definition of project management? Project management is not brain surgery. It's not rocket science, because I'm sure some guys will be like, man, project man. No, it's not. It's not brain strategy. It's not rocket science. What's the PMI definition of project management? Project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet project requirements. It is the practice of planning, organizing, and executing the tasks needed to turn a brilliant idea into a tangible product, service, or deliverable. So if you go through all over the world, every tangible product, every brilliant idea, the Teslas, the iPhone, the MacBooks, and all of those were ideas, and this translated into products. I just need to repeat that project management is not brain surgery. Even though some projects may be complex or complicated, it's not brain surgery. Project professionals are the people working behind the scenes to bring brilliant projects like sustainability initiatives, open world video games to life. They have the skills, knowledge, and experience to ensure a project achieves its goals. If you go on to the PMI.org, the de facto PMI site for project management, which is a global organization It's clearly there that 25 million project leaders are needed to meet global demands by 2030. I cannot overemphasize that the need for project management professionals is on the increase. Down the road, I will take you through some sites. You will see the daily number of PMs that are required. Why? Because organizations, enterprises need to accomplish some stuff, and they need project management professionals to run the show. Project management is a larger than life profession. The skill set it requires is more accessible than you can think. I can tell you that some of us have done some project management currently or in the past life, but you never thought of it as project management. Uh, Currently in Nigeria, project management as a profession is now clearly defined. But I can tell you in the past 15, 20 years, there weren't really a clear definition of that career, even though folks played that role. What I meant is that some people must have performed one project or the other, but they weren't called project managers. They didn't have the title, right? And then some of us that now came into North America now discovered that, wow, this is a profession, this is recognized and all of that. So if you have ever created a schedule, you have planned even a birthday party or a church event or a crusade or some stuff, or led a group project, you've already tapped into your project management potential. So everyone on the call, hey, I can see Sonny also on the call. So what I'm saying here in essence is that every one of us have some level of project management potential. It could be latent, it could be yet to be discovered, it could be something you've done, but you didn't understand. But in the course of today's talk, I'm sure you'll be able to get some revelation or insight that, yeah, I think I can do this. Then I've discovered in my career that project managers are not born. They are made or trained. And if you go interview project managers, you'll discover that most of project managers or most of us became project managers by accident. So I would say accidental project managers. Because guess what? Most project managers must have studied a course or the other before they get some training in project management. So it's like an evolving career path, meaning you could be a pharmacist and then you become a pharmaceutical project manager. Or you could be an engineer working in a transportation company, construction company, environmental company, and then you become an environmental project manager. You will understand what I mean as I proceed. What are the common trends in project management beyond being just focused on organizational improvement? There are other things, trends, managing vendors, facilitating a selection process for a partner to work on an initiative, some level of risk management, quality management, managing virtual, cross-functional, multicultural teams that have become the norm now post-COVID, working with project management offices and corporate governance processes. Project managers are change agents. They demonstrate servant leadership. If you have a question, please pencil it or drop it in the chat. We have a time slot for open Q&A and we can go deeper. And like I said, I'm very confident because I think I have enough support from my friends and other training organizations, which I would mention as we proceed. What are the reasons why you're saying, hey, Paul, yeah, nice story. You went from corporate banking Nigeria into IT project management. You've done several certifications and learnings. And guess what? I'm still learning because I'm a continuous learner. The last count, I think my certification stopped at 21. And so there's still room to learn and to grow more. And I'll tell you why I did all of that. But let's look at 6 reasons why you may want to consider a career in project management if you're not in the field already. There are a lot of opportunities to make a difference as a project manager. Our project managers have a hand in shaping industries, improving communities, making a lasting difference in the world. So many things I can't count because the list is exhaustive of what project managers have done. But in my little career, I think in 2012, because I was in the financial services sector. 3 credit unions in my province had a request to merge to become one. So in the history of financial services in the province, and you're talking about a province that is over 100 years old, it was the first time 3 different entities, organizations would merge. In Nigeria, because I was in the banking sector, I went through the 1995 merger, no, 2005, when we had over 90 banks becoming 26 or 36 thereabout. I'm not so sure of the number now. But based on that experience I had, I was privileged to lead this project in the province to merge 3 credit unions. So what I'm saying is that project managers have a hand in shaping industries, a lot of product development, implementation, transformation, talk about in construction, applications, and so much. Project managers have high earning potential, but you need to know that the project manager salaries could vary based on experience, location, and industry. So the guys who work as project managers in the Silicon Valley, in Tennessee, New York, California, might earn more than some other guys who live or reside in Minnesota. Some project managers in Vancouver, Calgary, Alberta, or Toronto possibly might earn more than other folks in Winnipeg. I was privileged to work with one of the largest insurance companies now called Canada Life. And I can tell you we have different band for project managers based on location city. And this is as a result of the cost of living. Lay and Gunther, like I said, when I took my position at Comcast, it was a 40,000 pay increase because I was the only applicant with a PMP. That tells you what the certification can do. When I got my first project manager job in Manitoba, it was with a financial technology company. They saw value of my banking experience, project management knowledge and education, and the certification. One of the primary reasons I was invited for that interview was because I had a PMP. And guess what? They were internal candidates I had to contest with. But one of the leverage or edge I had that I got to know later from the director of the PMO was because I had a PMP. But that was not enough. You need to be able to demonstrate some experience. So I can tell you statistically, and when we go into getting a job, you can see that the range of salary for project managers full-time, most especially in IT, which is the space I operate in, will range between 70 to 120,000 per annum. So somebody might like, hey, well, I think that's not too bad, a salary, right? So the first job I got over 10, 15 years ago was a $74,000. Remember, I was coming from corporate banking, where you have a driver, you have an official vehicle, life was good. But then coming over to this part of the world and having to start or transition into a new career, I didn't get that job immediately. These days, I've seen people come all straight from different parts of the world. I would say it's much easier now to transition into tech PM because of the foundation that our predecessors or pacesetters have laid. But when I came, like I said, it wasn't popular in my province. And so the first job I got was with a contact center as a customer service rep. So I had to do that all night so that I would have time during the day to pursue my career in project management, go to school to learn some other stuff. At that time in the province, the minimum wage was about less than $10 per hour. So in a month, I think the pay was about $2,000. If you multiply that by 12, 24,000, right? But I had this test to always want to study. So while at the contact center on the floor, sometimes there are low time seasons, I'm reading my book. And then the supervisor took an interest on me and was like, hey, I need to know what. So little background, cut story short, from a $20,000 per annum job to my first PM job, $74,000. The day I came back to the contact center and informed my supervisor that I was leaving, I'd gotten an offer. And the guy was like, hey, where, how much? And I mentioned the amount. Oh my God, there was like an opera in the whole of the contact center because people couldn't imagine that you get a job 300% more than what I was earning at that time. So project managers have high earning potential. The more experienced you are, depending on the industry sector, the more pay you can command. Project management is an in-demand career. I said that earlier that the global economy will need about 25 million new project managers by 2030, which is just about 6 years from now, making project management an in-demand career. Andy Jordan here from the PMI side said, projects are becoming an ever more important part of how business gets done. There are more and more critical projects happening today than there were a few years ago in most industries, and they are likely to be even more in the near future with AI and all of crazy things happening around us. That means that the value of projects is increasing for organizations, and by extension, the value of project management is always increasing. Project managers are needed in every industry. Go to banking, go to construction, even the provinces, provincial government, the city of, for example, city of Regina, city of Saskatoon, city of Winnipeg, telecommunication, Bellshaw, Rogers, everywhere, hospitals, even mega churches have project managers, right? So one of the greatest advantages of project management is portability, meaning that if you're an experienced certified project manager in Canada, you can port your skills and all of that. If you find yourself in Australia or some other continent, very portable. Even from Africa now, like I said, I've seen folks come in fresh and they can port their skills certification because the certification is global. The experience might be localized depending on country, but much very applicable. Project management skills are highly transferable across all industries, from technology and healthcare to construction to education to finance to creative industries and beyond. Project management could be a career that fits your lifestyle if you want to pursue it. And there are opportunities for career advancement. You can aspire to become a senior PM. We've got some folks here on the call who are senior PMs, program manager, portfolio manager. But tonight, let's limit the scope of our talk to project manager, right? The journey from project management to PMO involves continuous learning, networking, readiness to seize opportunities. By staying attuned to industry trends and owning technical and soft skills, professionals can position themselves for success. The other two success stories, similar to mine, similar to this guy in the sheet, Sasenda, who made this statement, you could see GMP, PMP. For majority of project management jobs opportunities, speaking from Canada, one of the basic requirements would be they wanted to own a PMP. So for those who are open to continuous learning, because depending on the domain industry, there are a lot of changes, a lot of things to learn, a lot of interrelated knowledge surrounding project management, the business analysis, the organizational change management, some specific technical knowledge we need you to study. And then we talked about networking. I mentioned earlier, one of the first things I did was to identify with the PMI. At some point, when we go for those meetings, among 100 attendees, there might be one or two Black guys. If there's only one, it's Paul. So at the point, I got so popular. And so then when my resume started flying around in the city, most times anywhere I go to interview, oh, your face looks familiar. I'll say PMI. Oh, it kind of gives you an opportunity because you now become a known face. Then at some point before I left the city, I think almost every organization, there's somebody who knows Paul by one reason or the other, based on my volunteering role with the PMI. I was opportune to write 2-3 articles in the PMI network, which is a global PMI magazine. So I'm sure if you put my name on Google search, you will see a lot popping up on project management. So you want to network. So that could be an opportunity. PMI chapter organizations, meetings, could be virtual, it could be in person. Let's proceed. What are other career paths? There are other titles that might not be a project manager, but guess what? These guys do or undertake project activities. The change manager, some operations manager, engagement manager, release manager, some would say chief of staff. All they do is run projects. Then when you go into the Ajayi world, you begin to hear Scrum Master, even though there's that debate that the PM is not a Scrum Master, but I've seen organizations saying, hey, we want someone who is a PM and a Scrum Master because we want you to be able to manage projects either in the traditional or in the Agile space. It could be a project coordinator, just like a junior PM, project manager itself, delivery manager, implementation manager, or an Agile coach. What are the key skills? As you begin to think, hey, can I transition? I think you want to really begin to map out what your skills are, skills you can have, skills you can learn, skills you can acquire. Project management fundamentals, like I said, there's that importance to take a course with an accredited trainer or service provider. That would go a long way. Business management skills. This covers budgeting, finance, procurement, organizational dynamics, team development, performance management, coaching, motivation, and all of that. Technical knowledge. Depending on the domain, you will need to demonstrate some knowledge gained either from experience or competence in the focal area of projects. Some roles will say technical project manager. So they are not looking for a generalist. They are looking for someone who actually has technical background. For example, some cybersecurity projects, some telecommunication project, and the rest of it. Communication skills. This is regarded as the most important PM skill by the Project Management Institute. For those who have done some PM training or have their PMP, they will tell you that communication is key. It's almost over 80% of what we do. We communicate every day, every time. Leadership skills. This has to do with attitude and mindset, adaptability, people management. What are the other qualities of successful PMs? You must be people focused. I gave us an illustration when I began that when God, who I termed to be the master of project managers, wanted to create the heaven and the earth, he said, let us. He didn't say, I will. He had to engage the sun, the spirit, and all of that. What project managers do, we engage people to accomplish a task, to deliver an outcome or a deliverable. So you must be people focused. You must have control passion. You must have an healthy paranoia, because sometimes complex, complicated projects can drive you crazy if you're not careful. You may begin to exhibit some stuff, right? And they'll be like, oh, this guy is not a seasoned PM. They will easily spot it, right? You want to have context understanding. Why this is important, like I mentioned, I came from a financial banking background from Nigeria, and that was very applicable to my first employment as a PM here. Some other time when you have to transition from one sector to the other, having a base or what I call the fundamentals, most companies could easily train you to give you context. What am I saying? Even as a seasoned project manager, if they throw me into a new space, the first thing I want to know is to have an understanding of the context. What's the project? What's the environment like? Then you begin to understand their processes and all of that. Strong customer service orientation, eye of the storm, just like an eagle. You want to have a good overview of what's happening in your project. You always want to keep an eye on the ball, like a soccer player. And then you want to take ownership. That's where the difference between the PM and some other roles within the project. In the project, you have the IT architect, you could have several business analysts and all of that. But then the buck stops on the desk of the PM. You take ownership. If the project succeeds, the PM has done a good job. If the project does not, they could fire the PM. The PM, it's the PM, no stories. Don't say, it's the IT architect. You can't pass blame. That's what I'm trying to say. You take ownership. So let's go to action points. To kickstart your career, first, you want to have the desire. I told you about the desire I had before I left the shores of Nigeria. That meant I'm going to Canada. I need to prepare for this. I got the PMP. So irrespective of what field you're in, you're thinking, oh, can I transition? We've looked at the skills, we've looked at the qualities. How do you kickstart? Have the desire to transition or to become a project manager. I think the desire is very fundamental, is the rock to how far you can go. Acquire knowledge. We'll go deeper into that. Take a course. It could be online or formal study. And let me pause here. When I say acquire knowledge, why knowledge is good, knowledge alone might not get you the job, right? And somebody might say, hey, there are a lot of training organizations. If you Google project management courses, Canada, almost every tertiary institution, Red River College, University of Winnipeg, University of Manitoba, go to Regina, University of Regina, University of Saskatoon, University of Alberta, every course, every institution now has a course in project management because they understood that the field is evolving, there's a high demand, they also need to get a piece of the pie. So everyone now trains in project management. But I'll tell you the difference between some guys I'll be bringing up shortly who I term to be accredited training providers is this. I'll give you the story. In 2010, when I came to Canada in Winnipeg, in 2018, the University of Winnipeg started a program called PACE, Professional and Applied Continuing Education, and project management was one of the key courses. And guess what? They sponsored several Nigerians. The government paid for their tuition 100%, paid for their rent for the 1 year, provided stipend, provided lunch, right? So all of these guys went to the school, then they graduated. For some reason, they couldn't get a job or break into the market. Fast forward, they've completed the program, they've all graduated, and here Paul arrives with that desire and vision that, hey, I want to go into IT project management. I will tell you candidly that these folks called me, don't mind him. In fact, they lost me as a friend because they couldn't just see my vision. They were like, oh, we that were sponsored by the government, we did this course as an advance for 1 year. So get him is a joker, right? But I was so focused because that was what I wanted. So what I'm trying to say is that you could go to these schools to study a course and a certificate. Even these days, there's even bachelors, even masters, PhD courses in project management. There's a difference between the knowledge and then there's a difference between the application. I haven't learned so much, like I said, with over 20 certifications. I can tell you there's a minimum of all of those learnings being applied in the real world, even though they've given me some strong knowledge base. So what's my advice when it comes to acquiring knowledge? You can do your online course, you can do your formal study, but guess what? Some set of guys who had come, I call pace setters, who came and they saw, they conquered, had come up now with tailored programs, tailored for the industry. They provide you resume, guidance, they provide you job interview preparation. Let me don't blow their whistle, they will speak for themselves later. But what I'm trying to say is that they've come in as a bridge, right? Why it's taking you 1 year, 2 years to go study project management? These are courses you could do 3, 4 months. And the testimony is in thousands. If you go on LinkedIn now, put PMP, CSM, Canada, I can count over 200 Nigerians that will just be popping up in every city. It wasn't like this 10 years ago. And we have one of my mentors here, I can tell you on the call as well, who has been a grandfather in this. And a certification and relevant certifications. Volunteering may open doors. So you could volunteer with the PMI, you could volunteer with some other organizations. But guess what? I've seen that most times, even the organizations here, even with the government, only very, very few of them have that program that would give you an opportunity to volunteer. Even when you say, hey, I have project management experience, I have the credentials, I want to come volunteer for you guys free of charge. It doesn't mean they will just grab you like that. So that part to volunteer, you just have to look for it. So it could be in your church, they have a project or some affiliated organizations which these friends of mine provide in their organizations. Network, you could network via LinkedIn and other social media platforms and PMI activities. I think on LinkedIn now I have over 5,000 or connections. I connect with project management professionals all across the world. And then you want to seek opportunities. With adequate preparation, you can seize opportunities, but then you need to be prepared so that when the opportunities come, you can grab them. So one of such preparation would be you having the PMP, which is like the de facto credential required for 95% of project management roles, opportunities in the country. You won't say, hey, I'll seek the job, and then let me use Ayo as a case study. And then they say, hey, Ayo, we need PMP. And you said, okay, guys, Sax Power, wait for me. Let me go get the PMP. No one will wait for you. You have to be prepared so that when the opportunities come, you can seize them. Recommended certifications, there are several. Like I said, I've got almost 2 dozens. But to start, there's a project management professional PMP. I said it's the de facto project certification globally. If you do not qualify to sit for the PMP, you can do the CAPM camp. It's an entry point certification in project management. When it comes to Agile, most popular is the Certified Scrum Master. In IT Service Management is the ITIL Foundation. And then we have the Prince 2 methodology, more of UK based, but I've discovered within my short time here in Canada, going to 15 years, one of the only sector who would always request for a Prince 2 is the Canadian health sector. And I have a guy here who is in that space. So they will ask for the Prince 2. So you may want to, and that's what made me go get the Prince 2. So for me, I love learning. Like I said, I would always, on a yearly basis, want to engage myself, challenge myself mentally. I was opportune to work with a consulting company who sponsored some of those certifications. I think in 1 year, I think I aced almost 8 certifications, and people thought this guy is certification crazy. For me, it's like an arsenal. So I have my arsenal, I have all the weapons. So I come, you say you want CSM. Hey, I don't need to go and come. This is CSM. You want PMP. You want ProSci. I'm not saying you should go through that route, but for a foundation basic, these are some of the certification you may want to consider. What would the certification do for you? It will give you a foot in the door, right? Hey, it's PMP, CSM. Surface level, fantastic. Gives you an opportunity to come into the door and then come demonstrate the knowledge and the experience, right? It gives you increased confidence and knowledge. You're more confident when you are familiar with the methodology, could be Prince 2, PMI, or other certification. You have the knowledge base because all of this knowledge is being applied in various domains, industry. It gives you an opportunity to become a part of a global community. So for example, I'm part of the PMI, I'm part of the Skilled Ajayi. We have a global community of folks, millions in number. You could connect with, you could share ideas, you could reach out, network, and all of that. Part of the scope I have said free project management training. I can't tell you what the value of anything free is, especially for those in North America. I don't know about Nigeria because it's been a long time I left that space. I can't tell you what the value of anything free is. But if you're like, hey, yeah, are there enough free courses? If you go on Coursera, you'll see tons of courses in project management. If you put in Google project management training, there's even what they call the Google Certified Project Manager. Free training. You go on Udemy, Alexin, YouTube, Simply Skill Up, Class Central, Skillshare, EDS, and tons. Google can help you with that. If you put free project management training, I bet you will see tons, several. But then, of what value would something be free? Because we are a church community, even David, when he was being offered something free, I can't quote the exact chapter. He said, why will I offer to the Lord that which will cost me nothing? For those who are willing to transition into project management space, like I said, the pay is not bad. For you to earn big bucks, be ready to spend some bucks. And so that's what I did when I came 15 years ago. All of the monies I brought, honestly, I was doing one certification or the other. At some point, my wife thought I was crazy, that you're just reading. Well, you don't get a job. She didn't believe. So when the job landed, she was like, damn, 74, 15 years ago. And I would tell you within 5 years, I doubled that amount. I don't want to blow my whistle, but about when I was leaving the city of Winnipeg, I was one of the highest paid PM. I can't mention how much I earned, and that was like 5 years ago. You could go Google how many PMs in that small city earn $140,000 per annum. You can count in your finger. Some directors in the city, even with the government, don't earn that. And the last full-time role I had, they told me you cannot tell any other PM this is what you earn, because I had the vice president of Canada Life personally approve that pay, right? Then not to talk of those who are into private consulting, those guys can tell you how much they can make per annum, so much. Recommended training, yes. This is where I'm so much passionate about. Training, I'm recommending Top Run Consulting. Top Run, do we have Sheyi on the call? Or someone from Top
Yes.
Run?
Mr. Babs is here as well.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Mr. Babs is here. Just in 5 minutes, can you tell us about Top Run, the values you guys bring, so I'm not the one just speaking and people like this Paul can blah blah blah. I want them to hear from the horse's mouth. Tell us more about. I know so much about Top Run because I've been associated with this organization over the years. But in brief, can you tell us what you guys do, what value you bring?
Yeah, so I'll pass it to Mr. Babs since he's on the call.
Okay, Chief Babs, are you here?
Yeah, so hello, Pastor. Actually, just listening.
Let me see if I can spotlight you.
Yeah,
Spotlight for everyone. Maybe you want to introduce yourself so that I'm not the one introducing you.
No. If you have a mentee like Paul, you are blessed. He's been a blessing to a lot of people. I've known him now for more than 13 years. But
A long time.
You guys are welcome. Many of you who are new people, new immigrants to Canada. I've been here for 20 years now. And one of the things I'll tell you guys right away is, look, time goes like this. Don't procrastinate because, it's going to catch up with you. We have 4 seasons. So before you know it, it's summer. Next time is like fall. Then, it's winter and spring again. So it really goes fast. I hope you guys can hear me. I don't know if
loud and clear, we can hear you.
Okay, somebody's like to speak louder. So what I would just tell you is basically, is it okay for me to share my screen briefly, Paul, Pastor?
Let me see. Ayo, can you give him a co-host privilege if you don't mind?
So, Pastor, I want to just thank you for what you're doing. I can tell you.
Ayo is not the pastor, but he's one of the major.
Okay.
As in, it's not the Pastor Wale. What I mean, as in, sorry to say, AY. I don't think Pastor Wale is on the call. Is he?
If I must say this, okay, honor to whom is due. Okay, we have a shepherd and a father over this house, Apostle Wale Tejumade. I think he is on the call. Just a second. Yes, he is on the call.
Okay.
So it's not me. I'm just an humble student that was sent.
That's what I was like. First thing I was doing is trying to like give the spiritual, giving the spiritual acknowledgement. Well, I'll tell you guys, putting this together is wonderful. Paul has always been like this. I'm not going to, you might see him here and see maybe that he has a skin in the game. He doesn't have any skin in the game. The only skin he has in the game is he wants to see people succeed. And I'm not going to lie. Whether, many years ago in Winnipeg, when he said, hey, Babs, make these people, and inspire them. In 2014, at least by our own records, which we had 95 people placed in corporate Manitoba. These are people that used to do any work. If you are in this country, you know what any work is. You know, there are other people that did, you know, healthcare. There's nothing wrong with healthcare, you know, but you know, when your pay home, when your pay home, when your take home pay doesn't take you home.
Okay, so celebrate you guys, celebrate you. I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes, we can, Wale.
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
can.
can.
Okay, celebrate you. God bless everyone. Bishop, I celebrate you. Thank you so much, you know, for choosing to do this, you know, with the lofty height. I know that I seem to be the only one who can compel you to come do this, controlling your schedules and all of that. And the beautiful thing about it is that you just didn't choose to do this. You also brought on board, you know, your teams, or I should say your gangs. So I just sincerely want to appreciate everybody. Thank you so very much, you know, for choosing to do this. Yes, we're a church, and some may be wondering, what's the business of a church with career growth? Just preach the gospel and leave the people. But you see, for me, dimension or perspective of ministry is much more than that. God asked me to raise kingdom influencers. These are people who are known in the gate, who are doing well, you know, in business endeavors, in careers, and also spiritually sound. We like to put it to say, you know, heavenly conscious and at the same time earthly relevant. So I came about this, you know, based on my background in consulting, human resource consulting, and just a sincere desire to just give our people the best. And I'm glad that, you know, a number of them, you know, they're connected to this telecast right now. And without a doubt, I want to believe that they will make the most of it, you know, and make you guys proud. I think that's all that I have to say. So again, thank you guys so very much. I'm grateful. I'm honored. This is ministry in the marketplace that you guys are doing. I'm praying that the Lord Almighty will reward you. Okay. Thank you again, Bishop, my friend and my brother, and see you in November in Regina. I just put you on the spot.
November, we'll talk about that later.
God
So
bless
we'll
you,
wrap up.
celebrate you.
We'll wrap up within the time. We've got 38 minutes.
No. For this session, there is no restriction on time. Please pour yourself and your teams. You guys pour yourself into the people. My desire is that someone after this session tonight, you know, project management or the concept of project management or becoming a project manager will no longer be a mountain to someone. Someone will have the gusto, the confidence to say, okay, now I think I can go give this a shot. Someone will choose to go write their PMI or their PMP or whatsoever. Someone may be here right now, maybe they've written it once, they didn't make the, you know, the result, or they've just been contemplating, should I not? This is August of 2024, as it were, right? You have about how many months, 4 or 5 months, you know, to the end of the year. So this can still be someone else's goal too. So that's going to be my dream and my desire. So please, you guys, feel free. There is no need to rush. There is no ministry activity colliding, you know, with this particular session, and it's free, of course. Yes. So please pour yourself into the people. You don't have to be confined, you know, with the restriction of the timing, if that makes sense.
Thank you, Pastor Dr. Tej. Okay, I will turn it back to Babs. I think Babs will have more time to go in depth when it comes to the Q&A, because I'll be deferring most of the questions to authorized training organizations like yourselves and practitioners. So if you want to wrap up overview of what Top Run offers, and then we'll come back so I can finish my presentation and turn it over to you and to the entire attendees as we discuss more. Because I know some folks, all I've said is not of interest. They want to see, how do I get the job and all of that. So we'll go into that later, right?
Thank you. If you don't mind, you can give me access to share my screen, please. I requested for that.
Can you give him,
I have been unhosted, so you are the host now. Okay.
Okay. Let me see if I can.
You should be able to do that.
No, I'm checking my stuff. I can't make him a host. I wouldn't know what privileges you gave me. I can spotlight him, but I can't.
You can make it. Okay. I'll get that sorted. I'll get that sorted at the background.
Okay. So while you're doing that, what I wanted to just let you guys know that whatever you've heard about Canada or North America, right, is a myth. Take it from somebody who has um, instrumentally instrumental our organization has trained over 8,000 professionals in North America, instrumental in their growth, instrumental in their placements. So what Paul said is awesome in the sense that it's nuggets. You can go from zero to hero. People talk about 6-figure income and all that. It is true. And let's even make it more interesting. I know people who easily make 500,000-600,000 a year because it's kind of role that in which you can have multiple jobs. Some of them are in here. Imagine now you have a spouse that's doing the same thing times two, right? The people that I've worked with, the people that I've mentored, these are people that in the last maybe 5-10 years, they easily have made $8-10 million from what we're talking about. And you can take it from me. And it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you started out from. I read law in the university. I practiced law that some of the people who worked in my chambers are sons. But today in North America, I am, a project change management consultant. So it doesn't matter. And here's where it gets more interesting. Even people that many of you came here, you have masters, and all that. And some of you even have that. But you're going to have to work under people like us. This country doesn't care what you look like. Don't let them tell you anything. That there's racism, that those things may exist. But if you have the skill set, you can. So that's where Topron is going to go in later. Because of time, I will hand it over. But we have the experience in setting people from zero to hero. All right. And when the time for the Q&A comes, we'll let you know how this happens. It's not magic. It's not. There's a method that's already proven. 2 + 2 would always be 4. But guess what? 1 + 3 is also 4. And 1
Right.
+ 1 + 1 + 1 is also 4. So we always get you to that 4. Thank you. Over to you right now, Paul.
Okay, thanks, Babs. And so you can see the poster, topron.ca is the site. You could go Google them about the organization. You can see the phone number. I limited myself to only providing 2 authorized training organizations because these are folks I've worked with. These are folks I know. These are folks that if you go and you don't get value, I can chase them and say, hey, guys, this AY, for example, did not get value. Please refund back his money. So like a money gun.
AY needs free training.
Well, like I told you, there are free trainings, even training with tertiary organizations, but I'm telling you the value you would get, right?
I was just
based
kidding.
on your investment. See it as a part of investment, right? And not just training. I can't go to tell you extensively of several folks who have invested. Some, for me, I would tell you, is a matter of even, I told you when I came, I used my money I brought from Nigeria, hard-earned money. I used some other credit cards facility to do most of this certification because, like I said, at that time, the government said, no, we can't sponsor you. You have a degree in engineering, you have an MBA, you have a PMP, come on, go get a job. So I had to use my funds, to do all of that. And like I said, my wife thought I was crazy, but today, the rest is history. Okay, briefly, I will bring...
Just one last thing before I go. Thank you. If anybody comes in, from this program, and say, just mention Paul Ajayi.
Or Lofty Heights.
Yeah, exactly. We have, that's why, I have my team here. We've created a special code for you guys. It's going to be a different pricing, regimen, okay? Just a way to let you know that.
Yeah, and then Babs, I would also share your contact with the lead pastor and the facilitator. Yeah. Should they have other ideas on what they want to do for the brethren or for the church or for the city? And so I would allow you guys run with that.
Yeah, please
So,
know that, like I said, when Paul invited me to his church in Winnipeg in 2013, in 1 year, 95 people got jobs in corporate Manitoba, where people thought it was the only thing you can do is healthcare or go and work security or working 24/7 in touch. People started working in Fortune 500 companies, companies like IG, MPI, and all that. It's all based on what we did.
so the
Thank
record
you.
speaks for themselves. I will move on. Wife, Apes. Do we have Sonny and Emeka here? These are my girls, as in we know all how we all started. Sonny, you want to go ahead? I'll spotlight you.
Okay. Emeka is here as well. Well, it's good for me to see Paul. Paul, thanks again. My apologies to everybody. I'm actually in my car. My son has a football game right now that's taking place. So once I finish this call, I'm going to go attend. But again, Paul, thanks for having us. I tagged team with Emeka. Emeka is a very good friend of mine. Myself and Paul, we've worked together back in 2016, 2017, 2018. That's where we're coming from, right? And the journey has been awesome. I also see my mentor, Babs Atafo, also on the call. Babs, awesome guy. I mean, anyway, the story is this. You can actually make it when you have people like Babs, when you have people like Paul in your corner, when you have people like Emeka in your corner. There's no how you're not going to succeed. And I'm a testament of that. But Paul has said two very important things tonight, just like how Babs also has. One, you have to develop yourself. And two, you have to stay focused. It takes consistent focus for you to attain this height. So thanks again, Paul, for having me. I'm still going to be around for the questions and answers. I just want to make sure Emeka has the opportunity to speak as well, as is my tag team partner in this.
Right. So Emeka Uweji, I know very well. From Winnipeg to Regina to Saskatoon. I don't know where he's heading to now. Maybe Honolulu or Hawaii. So where's Emeka so that I can spotlight him, and then I will wrap up my presentation, and then we'll go into the Q&A, open Q&A. Emeka, are you here? I'm looking for you.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear?
I can hear you, but I can't see you. I'm looking for your face. Are you by chance on camera?
Yeah, my camera is on. Sonny, can you see me?
Yes.
Okay,
I can see the face, so I'm replacing the spotlight. Okay.
Thanks for this opportunity. I don't want to take our time. Paul has been a very good old friend. We've come a long way, done so many things together. We've gone to so many places together with Sonny as well. And there's one funny thing I just want to add, because this is a church setting, and there's always God behind every move in a man's life. My move to knowing Paul was orchestrated by God. God speaking to me directly and say, call Paul. I was asking God questions, what to do, how to go about it. And he said, call Paul. I said, I am discussing with you. I'm having a conversation with you. And he said, I should call someone else. Okay, how would he know? So just call him. He will understand and he will know what to do. So just that phone call changed a lot of things in my life. And, I'm here today. We have Wise Apex. We have trained a lot of people. We have professionals. There are organizations now that are using our work to even do the advert in terms of project management, business analysts. They're using our product, our content to advertise, and they even use that to hire people. So you can anytime, any day, you can call on us. We are top notch. If we touch your resume, you get a call. Not one, not two, not three. I can guarantee you that. Any touch that we have on your resume or LinkedIn, you'll be asking what's happening. But this is by divine connection, divine touch. So that's that divine presence, with what we do. And again, in the house, we have one of our current cohort students in this session. I will not mention his name, but that's just to tell you that the work we do speak for itself, and people have been spreading the work that we do all over Canada. We have students across Canada, and you can imagine this little thing that we are doing is causing a great wave, and people are being blessed. Their life has been transformed from the little, stipends they were earning before, now 6 figures, and they are good. So I won't want to say too much. We'll just build on.
Yeah, we'll come into the Q&A. But just to buttress what Emeka said, every great move on earth with humanity, like you said, orchestrated by God, right? I met Babs, I met you, I introduced you to Sonny met, that chain of meeting people. And like I said, the role of mentors, just a joke here, but not a joke. When I got my first project manager job, they brought me into the organization and then introducing me to the staff members. Hey, this is Paul. He has a first degree in engineering. He has an MBA. He has a PMP. They gave me a big office with a cell phone, computer. So the expectation was high. Most of the white folks were just like, are you sure you have a degree in engineering? I'm telling you, okay, let me use Winnipeg. At that time, the most educated or most number of IT educated folks had just a diploma from Red River College. If you did then, you're like a king or a star. So these guys were like, man, the expectation was high. Now to bring that knowledge and my African experience to life without a mentor, most times I will resume. For those who are familiar with Winnipeg, Portage Avenue, when it's time for a break, I will take a break and I'll be praying, oh Lord, just help me today. And I'm just looking forward to the closing time, right? Because it's a new environment. There's much of expectation. The pay is good. You must perform, right? Until I started reaching out to mentors who now made my work and understanding easier. What you're trying to crack 6 hours, I can tell you a mentor can help you with 30 minutes and you're good. Let me wrap up my session so that we can go more into the Q&A. Recommended text. This book was one of the books I got 15 years ago. I still have a copy. I still refer to it. I can tell you this book is good. It's titled Absolute Beginner's Guide to Project Management. No prior project management experience necessary. Even as a practitioner, I still make reference to this book. There are many others, but I'm just telling you personally, this is one of my favorite. For those who are interested to pursue the PMP, this is like what I call the PMP Bible. The lady who wrote this book, she's late now. Her name is Rita Mokai. I think most trainers will recommend this book because it aligns with the exam content. With this book, enough with the exam prep tips and all of others, free sites where you can Google PMP questions, prep, brain dump, and all of that. You can use that to ace the exam. Getting a job in project management, I'll just tell you, like every one of my friends have said, Emeka, Sonny, it's possible. We have several testimonials, several sites. You want to go to Glassdoor, I can bring them here, several of them. On Glassdoor, you put IT project manager, you can put the city, you can put the country. You can sign in or sign up into these sites. You can create a job alert. So today, I still receive alert from all of these sites on a daily basis. Every night, once the night batch processing runs, I get the jobs. So for example, here is an IT project manager, the pay is there, 65 to 100. There's IT, several of them. I can bring several sites. That's Glassdoor. There's this other one called Flex Jobs, right? There's Indeed, popularly known, right? So right now in Indeed, there's a senior IT project manager, GFC, Royal Bank of Canada, hybrid work in Halifax. If you click all of these, you will see time won't permit. So see the requirements, use all through. This other one, software and information technology project manager, Netcracker, Calgary 110 to 120. You scroll down, several of these jobs, sites. There's BC Center of Excellence in HIV, blah, blah. There's that security. There's project coordinator, $67,000. If you're looking at coming into that level, there's First West Credit Union, 97 to 125. Senior project manager, IT. There's IT project manager, 12 months contract. Several jobs. Let's look for some other side. There's LinkedIn, right? Why some might not agree, but if you come on LinkedIn, you click on jobs, look on people, you could click on jobs, you could configure this to remote city locations. My first PM job I got, guess what? It was via LinkedIn. I was just somewhere that day where I was volunteering, and Bill Wanunik, you can check his name. He used to be the director for the PMO Celero, for those who are into financial tech, credit union, and all of that. And this guy just posted, he said, I'm looking for a PM local to the city with financial services banking experience. Guess what I did? I just replied. I said, if you're looking for one, then you've gotten one. The guy sent me a private message. Hey, when are you available for an interview? The rest is story. That's how I got the job. Several other jobs I've gotten via LinkedIn. I'm sure other people can testify. Recruiters are here looking for folks. I get calls like almost every day. And just like Babs, because I learned when I met Babs some years ago, someone said the guy brags a lot, Babs. This is what they said. And the story goes like this, that if a recruiter reaches Babs will say, hey, what's the pay rate? If they say, for example, I'm sure at his level now, if they say, for example, $120 per hour, the guy who told me that story said, Babs will say, oh, I'm sorry, you've gotten the wrong PM. So what I'm saying here is that you can determine your rate. So it's the same thing I do now. Once a recruiter reaches me, 2 questions I asked you, what's the rate? Who is the client? Because at this point, I can't work for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. I know where I want to work, and I know my rates. And so you tell me below the rate, oh, sorry, I won't. Discussion ends. Go look for some other guy. So on LinkedIn, if you click on this, several Nigerians to tell you this is possible, it's doable. Guys have worked this part. Flexjobs.com, joblist.com. There's this other one that they bombard me on a daily basis all across Canada, US, www.dice.com. But besides just searching for the jobs, you've had my friends here talking about helping you tailor your resume. Some of us are fresh from Nigeria. Our resume is so much Nigerianized.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to add this in that we offer a lot of professional resourcing for Crown Corporation here, and also for other government entities as well. Also, we do that project management training, top notch as well. So I just wanted to add that in that for us, a lot of Crown Corporation, they come, they ask for our resources, and we know what we have been we've been doing. So our resources have been solid. They are good to go. They are solid anytime, any day. So just wanted to chip that.
So Emeka, pause. We'll go into the Q&A, and you will tell us what you're made of. But several sides, guys, and we have the professionals here. I think without further ado, let me see. I think I'm towards the end of my. Let me take all of these. Too many screens, Too many sites. Okay, you can see the picture, the excitement. The day I got my offer, I was returning back home. I drove my car like a crazy guy. I was overly excited that at last I made it. Just like this lady saying, yes. I'm sure everyone who saw me on my way back were like, is this guy on something? But yes, I was really high on something coming from a 24,000 to a 74, 15 years ago, like I said. At this point, I think that would lead us to the open Q&A. I'll stop to share. The floor is open. I wouldn't know how Ayo wants to facilitate the Q&A. Do you want to start by reading the questions first on the chat? Or you want people to raise their hands and you pick them? And if you direct it to me, if I can't help you, like I said, I'm confident. I'm surrounded by a lot of witnesses. I can defer to either Sonny, Emeka, or Babs Topron, who are on the call. They take care of the field. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Bishop. Thank you so much. All right. It's been a very beautiful moment listening to you and all the goodies that project management has to offer. All right. One of the first things that you said that caught me was that you said by the year 2030, the world needs about 25 million project leaders. And for me, I quickly did the math, and that means 1 out of every 280 people is supposed to be. Why are you laughing, sir?
I love that. You can count yourself in or out. You have the right to do that.
Yes. So I had to quickly do the math, and I saw that 1 out of every 280 people needs to become a project manager for the world to achieve its goal by 2030. All right, and that is very beautiful. When you look at Canada, Canada even offers you a smaller space with about a population of about 37 million people. Then there is opportunity for everyone that is logged into this platform to do something. Anybody that is willing to change career, okay, there is a space for you, and a space wide enough for you to fly. All right, there are quite a number of questions that are coming in first, but before we start taking the questions from the questions from the chat, there's been this debate about who really manages a project, who really owns a project. Is it the business analyst? Is it the project manager? Is it I'm very sure you're very familiar with this, and you're smiling already, because we had a session earlier before today on business analysis. All right, and the business analyst also seems like somebody that takes charge of the project, manages and everything. So can we really be clear about that? Who really is the boss? Is it the business analyst or the project manager? Who makes more money? Over to you, sir.
Before I bring Babs, because I know the antecedent of Sonny, who was a accomplished senior business analyst, now senior project program manager. So, Sonny, you've been in both worlds. I've never been a BA, even though I have several certifications in business analysis. Sonny has a CBAB and all of that. Can you answer that? Who really is in charge? Who owns the project?
Sure, absolutely, Paul. Thank you. Without the shadow of a doubt, it's the project manager.
I wish I had a business analyst here to fight this with you.
Know let me tell you why. The PM.
You have one business analyst, though. I can respond after.
I'll tell you why, right? Because the project manager assigns tasks to the business analyst. The business analyst never assigns tasks to a project manager, right? Straightforward. So if you're working in a project and you have a PM and you're working as a BA, the PM assigns tasks and duties to you, period. I've worked as a senior business analyst, senior consultant, and I'm, like Paul said, I'm working as a senior program manager. I've lived both worlds, not for 2 months or 3 months. For years, I've lived in both worlds. So I'm telling you from experience, I'm telling you from certifications, I'm telling you from the way the hierarchy works in a project. If I'm working with someone like Babs or Paul and they're my PMs and I'm the BA, I am not giving them instructions. They are giving me directives. So let's make that very, very clear. So that's my contribution.
Okay, thanks, Sonny. Before I bring Sheyi, are you done, Sonny?
Yeah,
okay,
I'm done. The other PMs can refute what I've said, but I think all the PMs will agree with me.
No, you're spot on, bank on. The PM runs the show, but the PM is not the boss. So there's no Oga like that. It's just the one leading, is a servant leader, depending on what environment. Before I bring Sheyi, who's also a BA, you said who earns more? I've seen BAs on project who earn more than PM. Like I told you earlier, it's all based on experience, domain experience. When I was consulted for Bell in Winnipeg, 2016, there was a BA. She had a unique skill set. They introduced that on my project. I almost fainted when I saw the rates, because other resources on the project don't know their rate, but the PM knows everyone's rates. I saw it. I was like, damn. So I was very specific on the number of hours she must log to my project. She was a senior BA, but she reported to me. But she earned more than me. So BAs, depending on years of experience, you can't compare someone who has done 20 years business analysis to someone who is 5 years project manager. So even though you might be the project manager, the BA or an IT architect might earn more than you. But the PM owns the project, is responsible and accountable for the success or failure of the project. Sheyi, let's have you from your perspective as a BA.
Yeah, I was going to say it depends on from, right? But Paul is actually right. The PM actually, the box stops at the PM's door. Like if it fails, it's the PM. If it succeeds, it's the PM. And yes, you're also right to say that task will get assigned to the BA from the PM, but because there are some projects I've worked on, like agile projects, that I do not actually work with PMs. So the structure is kind of slightly different. But when you have the PM there, it's kind of there to just guide things around, not necessarily assigning tasks, just making sure that things are going smoothly. So
thank you so much.
going
So
to
before
come
we
from
bring
that perspective.
before we bring Daniel, who is raising his hand, there's someone here says, I don't want to interrupt. Can we get a recommended sample of project management resume? I would tell you there's no one-fit-all resume. So if you, like you said, if you go to internet, you will see several. And that's why we have the Wise Apex, we've got Top Run. Each unique individual, just like we have our unique DNAs, background, one-fit-all resume might not work for you. I can send you several samples. My current resume, which Sonny is familiar because we are both working in a consulting company, is 21 pages. And now I have an issue where I can't condense my resume anymore because 2 pages of my resume is education and certification alone because I had worked in a consulting firm. That's what they wanted. And they wanted me to list all my projects, right? Then some other organization would take 2, 3. But till now, when I apply for a job, I don't have that time to condense. I give you the 21 pages. You go look for what you want. If you're interested, call me. So a one-fit-all resume won't work. Babs, you want to say something on the last question before we move to Daniel, who is raising his hands? I'm sure he's tired.
Yeah, it was a good thing you guys said, right? And I want you to know that. To be honest, what determines the rate is the organizations. There are some organizations that actually pay very well. Their payroll, their pay structure is high, right? If you are, and you can Google it down right now, if you are a Murex business analyst, because we have our organizations in the UK and they're huge there, an average Murex business analyst would make £1,500 a day. 1,500 pounds in some organizations. But at least it will start from between 700 or 800 pounds a day if you're on contract, right? Some PMs can't make that. If you're an architect, if you're a business architect, for example, and you have your TOGAF and you have your Zashmans, we're starting about like $150 dollars an hour. So, right. But generally the PM is going to earn more. Having said that, the PM is not the boss as we see it in Nigeria. It's actually a collaborator. It's actually the facilitator. Paul said something very important, because at the end of the day, remember what we all learned in PM in PMI, PFP. The PM has no home. After the project, you're either assigned to another project. If you're in a PMO, then of course it's multiple programs running, right? So I want you guys to know that. So divergent opinions, don't say, oh yeah, if you're starting out as a project coordinator, you will definitely not earn as much as a Scrum Master, or maybe even a junior PA, even as a PA, right? But if you're a project manager, be sure in this country, in the US, you're going to make a very decent pay. Very decent pay. You're in the top 25% now in earnings. Thank you, Paul. Over to you.
Okay, yeah. I think we can bring out Daniel, who is raising his hands.
I wanted to call Daniel.
After Daniel, we'll come back to the sustainability in project management.
Daniel, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, you can. Yes, we can hear you, Daniel. Please go ahead.
I celebrate you.
If you can turn on your video too, please. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Hello, Daniel. Please go ahead. Hello, Daniel. Are you there?
I'm trying to set my video.
Okay, just go ahead with your question while you're setting your video, because of time. Okay, let me give Daniel a second. Okay, let me give Daniel a second. I'll just quickly say this. There's this discussion that Scrum Masters too are going extinct. Okay, so that project managers, business analysts are taking over their spaces. So I don't know if you're advising us to go into Scrum Master work, or let me leave that. Daniel, are you ready? I just wanted to put that as a diversion. Daniel, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, good. Let's go ahead. Let's have you.
So it's just what I'm trying to ask is like an undergraduate like me, how do I start? How do I kickstart my career? Where do I start from? Where can I get a PMI to volunteer for? And so that's what I'm trying to know about. Thank you.
If I heard you correctly, did you say you're an undergrad?
Yes, I'm an undergraduate. Yeah.
So the PMI, for example, have a status for practitioners. They also have for students. The membership fees for students are lower. I think nothing stops you from identifying with a PMI as a student member where you can have access to training, networking. However, as an undergrad, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I don't think you're ripe now to start seeking for the PM jobs because you're still an undergrad, because some of those jobs might want a degree in business, computer science, but you're still a student. But nothing stops you from identifying with the institute. Nothing stops you from beginning to network. Nothing stops you from taking some courses on project management fundamentals to gather that knowledge, irrespective of what your degree is in. I wouldn't know if that helps you.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, then somebody talked about sustainability in project management. I've answered you. If you go to your chat, I said in our changing world, sustainability in project is more important than ever now. Project sustainability involves both individual and organizational responsibility to ensure that output, outcomes, and benefits are sustainable over the project life cycles during their creation, disposal, and decommissioning. I think that addresses that. I have a question I want to read from the chat. AY, if you don't mind, I'm working with you.
Please,
As a
yes, I
PM.
believe you're doing well, sir.
Okay, someone said, is it wise for a person to focus on project management, straightforward, or specialize in a field like IT or engineering and then get the project management certification? Who wants to take that? Top run, wise uppers, who wants to go first? Did you get the question? Is it wise for a person to focus on project management straightforward, or should the person specialize in one field like IT or engineering and get the project management certification?
Awesome. Very, very good question. Maybe I'll chip in and then Emeka will want to chip in as well. The thing about it is this. Think about what is going to be your pathway. How do you want to get into the IT space? Now, there are two ways in which you can get into the IT space. You can get into the IT space as a PM, meaning the prerequisite, as Paul has been speaking and Bob has also mentioned, is your PMP. How long will it take you to get your PMP? It's up to you, whether it's 2 months, 3 months, whatever. Prepare, write the exam path. The second challenge you're going to have is, do I have the industry knowledge to be able to get the job? So that's the first path. The other path, which doesn't necessarily mean that you need certification, is the route where you want to go through as a BA. That's also another path. But since this is a forum where we're talking about project management, let's keep it project management. So if you really, really want to get into the PM space in the IT industry as Canada presents today, you have a ton of competition. You're competing against people like Babs, against Paul, against Emeka, against myself. And if you look at each and every one of us, we have nothing less than 10 to 12 to 15 to 26 certifications. So how do you break into this industry? There are two ways you can break into this industry. The first one, get training from people who understand the industry, like Wise Apex, like Top Run. That's number one. Because not only have we worked in the industry, we know how the industry operates, we know what the resume needs to look like, we know the industries, the organizations that are currently recruiting. That's number one. Number two, attach yourself to mentors. Attach yourself to mentors. I am where I am today because of Babs Atafo. If people on this call do not know, I am making it known today. I have attained the heights I've attained because of people like Babs and because of close confidence and friends like Paul, Ajayi. So it's super important. Stay away from the naysayers. Stay away from the people that will discourage you. Focus on your goal and get into the space as quickly as you can. So I don't know, Emeka, you want to chip in something there to add to what I've said?
Yeah, I'm not going to add. Say, you've said it all. One thing I would say is just keep your focus. Don't be distracted. Don't lose, focus on what you want to do, and just hit the nail on the head. Don't rush to do everything. If you do that, you get confused, you get overwhelmed, and in fact, you might be discouraged. So I'll just leave that as Tony has said, and I'll just hand over to Paul again.
All right, over to Babs. Sorry,
Babs, you want to say something?
If I may add here, guys, you know what Sonny just told you guys, right? Is the most important thing anybody can ever tell you that really loves you. You know what a mentor does? A mentor is proud of your success. Think of your son. Think of your son that is acing it in college, maybe as in sports, in academics. A mentor has gone through the steps. You know, where you are seen as your goal, they probably have been there like. And where you want to take 3 steps, they've already told you. Your mentor is not intimidated by you. Your mentor is proud of you. See? So, I mean, the prayer is that your children should be better than you. That's what a mentor does for you, right? So, where we come from, it's a very competitive, we don't believe that. So when I see folks like Sonny, I've been many times, I'll tell Sonny, I just checked your profile. Not because I'm snooping on you, but because people need to know that you can be it. When he says you should be focused, it's not a lie. Because, people can only show you the road. It's now left to you to how you want to take that road. So yeah, it is, right? So get involved with people like, look at Paul, look at Sonny, and because at the end of the day, they eventually your mentor will, you'll get better than your mentor. Or that's the prayer, right? Or he will show you how you get. So please don't, we come with a lot of, there's no humility anymore. Everybody has come into Canada, and so, we're all in Canada and we can wave the flag, right? No, that's not it. We still communicate. Once in a while, Paul, he checks in on me. Whenever I get into Ottawa, Paul, if he has any, check in. Sonny is checking about, I'm heading to Nigeria again, Babs, and I'm like, and that's the beauty. We have a community. That's why Paul can say, hey, Babs, and we're there. Sonny says, hey, and so that's what we are. We have changed the narrative. So that mentorship is important. Thank you.
Okay, let me just buttress a little bit of what you've said, okay? Since we are in a Christian gathering, okay? There's this story in the book of Acts about the 7 sons of Sceva that wanted to cast out demons. All right, if they were properly mentored, if they had good mentors, the demons told them, they said, Paul I know, Jesus I know, but you 7 sons, who you be? All right, who are you exactly? All right, and they got flogged out. Demons flogged them out. So I think the place of mentorship cannot be overemphasized. Most people that make it in life would always point to someone that showed them the way. You don't have to fall into the same pit that mentors, people that have gone ahead of you have fallen into. I think Bishop is already sending some. Daniel,
I'm not sending. I'm just trying to address Marvelous, because I think I need to buttress the point that me just providing you a resume sample. It's just like you going to the doctor pharmacy and say, just give me a medication. What medication? What's your illness? What's the symptoms? Right? So there's no one fit. So I try to pull mine to just tell you, like I said, it's 21 pages. I send this to you. It's like an handout. It may not make value to you. But Top Run, Wise Space, these guys are, like they said, they've trained several hundred thousands. They've seen all sorts. So when you come in, the first process is this. Marvelous, give us your resume as it is today before you start the training. Then they train you with the knowledge you now acquire. You'll be able to translate some of the stuff you've done now as projects. It can help you refine, it can help you tweak, not forge. Then they prepare you for interview, they help you in seeking for jobs. That's the value. So on this page of mine, this page, I don't know what page it is. You can see 2017 to 2018. That was the year I met Pastor Tej, right? When I came to Regina, it was at the Redeemed Christian Church, Peculiar People Parish on Bond Street. I don't know if they've moved, right? So that was Bell. So I don't know what value should be just giving you a blank sample just because maybe you want to see or familiar won't work, right? So I told you it's 21 pages. This is page 19. You see the education, you see the organization, you see the certification is 2 pages. It's 21. It won't, it will confuse you, giving you a sample. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So I've always heard this since I came to Canada that your resume must not be more than 2 pages.
I
or
was
3
laughing,
pages.
and that's why I'm,
So
and that's why I'm laughing.
Babs, you know how this started, this paradigm, right?
Yeah, you know the reason I'm laughing.
yeah.
I mean, I have, one of our team, here, Shay, and sometimes people say, I tell them, they tell me that, you know what, the guy in HR says my resume is no more than, it shouldn't be more than two pages, 3. Who's going to read it? And I laugh. I said, you know what? If you're looking for a customer service job, it's going to be 2 pages. What are you going to put there? Escalated customer, this and that and that. But if you worked on multiple projects, I was checking, as at the last time I knew, I've worked on over 46 projects. How do I put that in 2 pages? I'll just list it. You won't put the stuff. And there are some things we don't even put, right? So this is how it is. And you guys will get there. If you're looking for a customer service job, now then nobody's going to read pause. You say who's going to read pause? This ATL system is going to pick out the buzzwords, all the things in there, because you don't know where you want to work. If you're working on Phineos, for example, if you ever worked in MPI, Phineos is a system that they use there. Right. So how do you know that it's Phineos that's going to give you that job, that's going to pay you that big bucks? How do you know, and you've removed it? How do you know that they're not looking for a skill set like Murex? How do you know? So the more you put there, because the system is the one that is going to filter it, and when it gets to HR, when the HR sees this, they're not going to say, I'm not going to look at it, because they know that this is a value-added candidate. I'm looking at Sonny. He knows, because at the end of the day, the employer wants to know the depth that you really have. At a certain level, they want to know, okay, so Sonny is like putting his resume out there, for example. They see, they like it. They also want to know, is there more? At that stage, at that level, they're not going to say, no, we're still enough. No, they want to have a justification for why you are that excellent candidate that they must have, So, but you're going to get there, right? It takes a while. It takes a while, like Paul says. Once you start, it's like a virus. Before you know it, you've taken another certification. Before you know you've taken another certification. And let's be honest. If you see Paul's profile right now and see I'm not trying to make anybody feel anyhow, and see your own, will you hire yourself? For people that say, I don't want to do certification, you are looking for an African person, you see Sonny's profile, ask yourself if you will hire yourself. And the same thing I studied a lot of my mentor. Like I said, we're talking about more than 8,000 strong. When she started many years ago, she was more like, Mr. Babs, how do I get to this level? But now she's so once you start, last time I spoke to her, she said, oh, I'm taking some time off because I want to get more. And I'm like laughing, there's a time it wasn't like that. But you guys have to start somewhere. And if you have to go to project management, 2 things. PMP is your standard. You have to. That is even, I would say, if there is something that you must have, then you can get Prince 2. If you're getting the Prince 2, you can even get the foundation if you want to start that. Because if you say you're a project manager, you should be a project manager in both in US, Canada, and the rest of the world. Like Sonny, for example, I know he has MP, like all the other stuff that you have from the British Computer Society. So that's the way it goes, right? And many of you are hearing some of these things for the first time. That's the essence of mentorship. Because you will
Okay,
know.
Mr. Babs, I know Pastor Ted has said unlimited time,
What
but
about
for me
you? Yeah.
and for some of us, time is money. I have only 19 minutes left on this call. So once it's 19 minutes, I would leave. Those who want to stay behind might. Uh,
I
but
got
just
you.
to mention the facts are there, these organizations are there. After this call, you want to reach out to them, or you may want to reach out to Ayo or Pastor Ted and say, hey, as a community, as a church, can we go together collectively to negotiate something better? Everything is possible, right?
All right.
Everything is possible. Resuming, like I said, it depends on whatever. And just to portray that some of Sonny, you can also attest, and I'm sure Babs, some of the jobs we have gone to interview that they didn't hire us, it's not that they didn't hire us because we don't know what we're doing. But some of these interview sessions, I've been to several, it's like I'm an advisor. They are telling me this is the problem. I'm telling them solution, even though they did not hire me. They can still go back with all of those stuff I've provided and run with it, even now if they hire somebody else. But guess what? I've seen recruiters down the road, organizations come back and say, hey, we know you did so. We want you now. So it's all about building value and giving value. Is there any other person who has a question? Because I think there is no more question on the chat.
No, Bishop, I would like to say a few things, okay, before
Okay.
you drop off. Just for everybody listening, I would like the audience to know, how much does it really cost to get your PMP done? How much does it really cost to get some of these certifications done? Maybe like the Prince 2, the PMP that you mentioned. What is the average cost? And then for the trainings that you discussed too, what is the cost involved, so that people can have an idea? That is number one. Number two, on the chat box, I would like our mentors here in project management to drop their LinkedIn address. Okay.
Sonny, sorry, Paul.
Yeah.
If you can share your screen, my LinkedIn is there, and you can probably do it there, so you can just like decide.
Okay, I will do that for you because
Okay.
I sleep on LinkedIn. You know what? I get inspired on the morning out. There are sites I check every day, and LinkedIn is one of it. Sometimes I'm encouraged by what I've accomplished. I'm inspired by what I see, and it gives me that. So let's look for Babs.
Okay. So we'll like that.
I'll put that here.
The website for the training schools have already been dropped on the chat box. I saw that already.
But then AY, you said what's the price range? I don't want to speak for the trainers, but it depends on the organization. But top range, 30,000 feet, PMP certification could cost you between 1,000 to 2,500, depending on the organization, depending on the value. Like, remember I said, it's not just getting the PMP. How do you translate that knowledge, that experience into resume writing? How do you prepare for the interview? University of Saskatoon, Regina, and all of these names won't give you that additional value. And that's where the value is. It's not just passing the PMP exam. I've seen folks who didn't go to any formal school. I've got several certifications that even my organization paid others to go. I said, no, just give me the material. I would study. And I aced it before those who went to the class. And everyone thinks Paul is a genius, right? But I'm talking of added value. So I'm copying that of Babs. I'll put it into the chat. I'll put that of Emeka and other guys. And these are things, most times I meet you on the street. You say, hey, I'm a project management professor. I'm a BA. I won't even ask you much. I'll just say, hey, can I know what your name is? Oh, you know it. I've gone to Google you on LinkedIn. Right? So without you telling me much, I can do that, right? So you can look for me up as well, and several. You can see some of the folks I have picked today. Let's bring Emeka up. APES. Right. And I've got several friends in Regina too. Regina now is the big community of tech guys, different domains, guys doing great. Some are very quiet, and we're trying to bring them out in my discussion with Pastor Tej. You need to give back to the community. It's high time we give back, right? Don't just be one guy there eating all the money, because you getting the job won't affect mine. Right? So, any question?
Okay. And we still don't have your own LinkedIn, sir.
Okay, I'm pulling that mine. I said, let me bring out my guys who had come to support for that time. And at some point, some folks are not on LinkedIn anymore because they don't want any recruiter reaching out to them.
Okay.
I don't know why you guys are laughing like that, but they know.
Yeah, the guys know themselves. You know, when you have acquired so much, I don't need anybody to look for me. I'm still growing. I've not gotten to that level yet.
All right.
If you see my profile, if you see my profile, which I just put, let me show you.
Yes.
You will see a green logo. You will see a green logo saying I'm open to work. You know, my last contract was with the government of Canada here in Ottawa. It ended in February. I think what scared them for not renewing my contract was when they asked for vacation leave. And I told them that from March, April, May, June, July, every month, I'm either in Spain, Italy, Switzerland, and not kidding, I've been to all this. I can't count how many countries I've been between March and now. So for me, the summer was for me to travel, do some other stuff with the franchise I run with my wife. And winter is coming, and I won't mostly fly during the winter. So now I'm back. I'm available, any contract. So you can see open to work. So please, for those who are...
I know what it took for us to get you on board. So
yes, you know, most times I think I was in Madrid when I and Pastor Wale spoke first. When I came, I was in Winnipeg. Tomorrow, I need to pack my bags tonight because I'm off to another location tomorrow and all of that.
Thank God for Apostle. I was actually begging him, Apostle, please let me talk to Bishop.
That's my little profile here. You can see over 23 experiences, MIT, Cornell, blah, blah, blah. So you need to spend the money, guys. Honestly, if I see somebody asking me for free stuff, there are some guys now, they reach out to me, Paul, can you mentor me? Yeah, while I want to, I don't really have the time. You need to really commit. But when you come with that mindset of free, come on, guys, there's nothing free, even in Freetown. You need to invest to get. You need to invest. Some of us go to church programs. There's a special man of God. We dedicate the time. You need to give something to get something. That's what I'm saying. So it's a matter of you looking at what's the return on the investment. If I spend 2.5 to go do this, for example, and then I get a job 80K, you know, more glorified job that I can build on, is worth it, right? My first job, I told you, was 74,000, 2010, 5 years. When I left the first company I worked for, after 4 years, the company recruiting me, I told them it's 20,000 more or nothing less. And they gave me 20. And then 3 years after, well, within 5 years, I was able to double 100% my first income in project management. So,
wow.
I don't know if there's any more, so that it won't be as if these guys, Paul, Emeka, Sonny, Babs, they're just bragging. This stuff is real. We have several folks. My wife is an alumnus of Top Run. I think she was one of the first set of guys who did the training in Winnipeg. She used to work in Globalcom, right? So when we got to Winnipeg, I was thinking I was going to get a job first, but Manitoba Telecom Services saw a resume and they brought her into the contact center a month after we landed. I can tell you she was the first Nigerian who worked in the MTS contact center. And when they started asking for referrals, she brought other Nigerians. MTS at that time was the highest paid customer service job. While I was earning $9 at 24/7 in touch, MTS was paying $19 then. Right? So she did a course. She did a course in human resources, University of Winnipeg. We both went back to school when she graduated, and I was like, how much will they pay sorry, Pastor Tesh, no Yavis here. How much do they pay an HR professional? Go and Google it. How much do they even pay some accountants? Some accountants don't earn as much as BAs. Right? I was like, come on, girl, we didn't come here to look at the snow in Winnipeg. And then when Top Run started the BA course, I said, hey, just let her come. I said, okay, go. Guess what? 3 weeks after the training, she was one of the first. Go check it. You can check her on LinkedIn. I can share her profile. From MTS, there she left as a BA and all of that. So you need to invest, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. She worked as a BA for several years, and then she found her passion, and she does what she does now. So the PM BA could be a part. I've seen other guys who have done this several years. Now they run their own stuff based on their passion. Some run their own Proteas line. Some run franchises. You know, so it all depends on you, what you want, you know. Anyways.
Wow. I could see Emeka and Babs laughing when you mentioned $19 per hour. They were like, what is this? They were like, what is this? Do people still get this? Do people still get this salary?
No, but do you know that the minimum wage?
Because
the minimum wage in Ontario today is $20. This was what they paid 10 years ago at MTS customers. Just to tell you the value it was then. It was like, if you have the job then, respected. The healthcare professionals were earning $10. This is a job as a customer service in the province telecom, double. So everybody wanted to work, but your English must be smooth for them to.
All right.
Your English must be smooth for them to employ you then, right? So, anyways, any other question? I think we should answer one before we go.
We don't have any other question in the chat box,
Okay,
and
if we don't,
I don't think there's anybody that is raising up their hand at the moment. But I must say that this has been a very awesome time. Thank you so much, Bishop Paul. Thank you so much, Oga Babs. Thank you so much, Jamaica. Thank you so much, Sheyi. It's been very, very nice having you on this platform and sharing your experience. And I hope that one or two of the participants have looked into or have heard what you've said, and they are really interested in saying what does it really take to be a project manager, and they will definitely indicate their interest. One thing that we can take from here is that you've given us a coupon, a voucher, and the code name is Lofty Heights. So when we're coming for the trainings, we believe that there will be heavy discounts. Okay, we will still pay the price, but there will be heavy discounts. Heavy discounts.
That's left to the training organizers. At this point, I think I need to sign out. Thank you, Pastor Wale, Dr. Tejumade, for the opportunity. But I want to say thank you, Babs. I know what time is to you. And you know what? I've been in my church, at some point, some guys were like, hey, they should pay. I say some of us, the church might not be able to pay us for our time. And that's why they say it's volunteering. We're giving back. So thank you, Babs, for your time. Thank you, Sheyi. Thank you, Sonny, my Irish Canadian friend. And thank you, Emeka. I have to sign out. Sorry, I got to run.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. All right, so we're rounding off now. This is Lofty Heights Christian Center, and this is our CareeeLeap series, and we are ending this season with the project management session facilitated by Bishop Paul Ajayi. At Lofty Heights Christian Center, we have as our shepherd and pastor over the house, Apostle Wale Tejumade, who deems it fit to have this. God has granted this vision to raise kingdom influencers and ambassadors in the society whose business is making Jesus famous. And one of the ways in which we can make Jesus famous is in our respective careers. Our mission is to exist to raise a tribe of vibrant, spirit-filled, heavenly conscious, and earthly relevant believers who know who they are and why they are created. You must be relevant at your workplace. And one of the reasons why we are taking this is just so that we can move up the ladder and accelerate in our career growth. I would like to thank and appreciate each and everybody that has for those that are registered for this session. You will get all the information that we have to provide from the career desk at the end of this. An email will be sent to your email. Will be sent to your email where you would have all the necessary information from this session. And with that, I would like to say that we meet at the church itself meets at the Ark, which is 3005 Saskatchewan Drive, Regina. And you could also visit us on our social media handles. We have our YouTube channel, Instagram handle, X handle, and Facebook handle at My Lofty Heights. It will be very nice to have each and every one of us visit all these platforms and just be a part of the church in one way or the other. On Sundays, we meet at 10 a.m. On Wednesdays, we meet for our weekly meetings by 7 p.m. I would like to say a very big thank you to each and every one of us, and I would like to say congratulations, because I know that somebody's already having a mic shift, and someone here from this session is going to have a testimony sometime very soon. We will be logging off now. Thank you. It's a wrap. And I want to say I appreciate and I celebrate each and every one of us. Have a beautiful weekend and enjoy your night rest tonight. Thank you. Bye. My name is Ayodele Balogun, and it's been a nice time being with you. All right. Bye.